Have you ever heard the name of a town that only exists on your phone but has no trace of it in the real world? No roads, no houses, no people, just a digital lie. Langville, Montana. Clear as day on the map. But when people actually went there, you know what they found? Empty land. Maybe you're thinking, that's just some kind of glitch. But glitches only happen when someone comes back. See, 3 people went there. One of their phones kept sending out a signal for 2 days and with no network at all.
And it still sends a signal with no network.
The second, on the way back, could only say one sentence. That place, it wasn't quiet. It was calling to me. And the third, still missing to this day. There's something in that town, something that shows up but doesn't exist. And the scariest part, Langville, it's not just a name anymore, it's an invitation for you. Maybe you've seen an old alley tucked away in the corner of your own town. One day, it's there. And the next, it's gone. Maybe you've even seen a name written above it, a name that doesn't exist in any record, any map, any book. And yet, people swear that they felt the air there, touched its walls, and then walked right through it. But what's the truth? Is it just a collective hallucination? Or are we standing in front of a mystery and far beyond human understanding? By the time you reach the end of this video, you'll start looking at every corner around you in a whole new way. And maybe you'll stop trusting your own town. You good? All right, grab your headphones, kill the lights, and just roll with me on this one. Trust me. Not everyone listens to stories like this, so welcome to a story that was waiting for you. It all starts with a girl, Emma Carter, just 22 years old, a genius when it came to coding, but in every other part of life, completely simple. In her small Seattle apartment, glued to her laptop screen, like every secret in the world, was hidden somewhere inside her keyboard. Then, one evening, in the middle of scrolling through data, something strange happened. A glitch. A name appeared. Langville, Montana. Her ears had never heard it. Her eyes had never seen it. And yet, something inside her moved. Her heart whispered softly, "What is this?" And just like that, one tiny spark of curiosity opened a door for her. A door leading down a path she might never come back from. A journey whose ending she could have never imagined. Most people ignore the things they can't explain, but Emma wasn't like most people. And maybe, if she had just looked away, for even a single second, she'd still be alive today. It was 10 p.m. Emma was hunched over her laptop. She was a freelance cartographer, which basically meant she spent her days and nights zoomed in on satellite images, tracing roads, mapping rivers, that kind of work. Inside her small apartment, the only sound was the soft hum of her laptop's fan. That night, she was mapping a remote area of Montana when something strange caught her eye. On the screen, a tiny little town. Streets, houses, a church, even a playground. But no name, no street labels, no data. It was like the place didn't even exist. Emma zoomed in, staring at it closely. No cars, no people, not even shadows. A faint crease formed on her forehead. "This doesn't feel right," she whispered. And then her eyes drifted to the corner of the screen, where a cluster of faint pixelated letters spelled out Langville. She whispered the name under her breath. Langville. And right then, there was a faint bit of static in her headphones, like someone had just unmuted a mic. Emma froze. She immediately called her friend Jake. Jake wasn't just a friend. He was the kind of guy who'd stay up until 2 first making theories about government ghost towns and places erased from history. On the second ring, and he picked up.
"Jake, you ever heard of Langville?"
2 seconds of silence, then Jake's voice went suddenly serious.
Emma, where did you hear that name?
On a map. Middle of Montana. No labels. No data. Close it. Now. Emma's heart started to beat just a little faster. Why? What's going on? Jake spoke slowly. This isn't a glitch. Places like that, they get erased. From history. From maps. From everything. And the people who go looking for them. He stopped. Emma gave a short laugh.
Oh, come on. It's just some weird map error.
Jake stayed quiet.
I'm serious, Emma. Don't go. You think you're just looking at a map, but what you're really looking at is something you were never supposed to see.
And right then, Emma's curiosity only got worse. She smirked and said,
Just one day. A quick trip, and I am back.
Jake stayed quiet for a moment. Then, almost like he just accepted that this might be their last conversation, he said,
Emma, if you go to Langville, that's going to be your last trip.
The line went dead. Emma just stared at the blinking cursor on her laptop screen. Langville, still sitting there on the map, unnaturally still, and in the faint static of her headphones, somewhere far away, someone said her name. Emma started digging. She found a historian, Dr. Marcus Reed, an expert on Montana's oldest secrets.
Dr. Marcus, do you know anything about Langville?
Emma's voice carried a little hesitation, but way more curiosity. 10 seconds of silence. Then, a slow, almost trembling voice replied,
Yeah, I know. But you shouldn't have asked that.
Emma straightened
deal.
in her chair. What's the big deal? And then, Dr. Marcus began to speak like each word was unlocking a door to his past.
1950s. In a remote, snow-covered mountain region of Montana, the government started a project. Codename, Langville.
Officially, it was a research town. But the real reason was something else.
Emma pulled her chair closer to the screen. The laptop's glow lit up her face, and the sound of her heartbeat felt like background music.
Their goal is to move the human mind into a computer. Full consciousness transfer. Imagine, even after you die, you're still alive behind a screen.
Emma was locked in, listening. But Marcus took a long breath. The experiment failed. So badly. They didn't just delete the data, they erased the whole town from the map. Buildings, people, records, gone. Emma blinked.
Meaning?
A cold shiver and ran right down Emma's hands. She said quietly, Meaning? Meaning, Marcus said slowly. The people who live there, their bodies have been gone for decades, but their minds, their souls, are trapped inside a kind of digital prison. And maybe they're still there. Emma's throat went dry, but she still asked,
So Langville still exists?
Maybe, digitally. But Emma, remember one thing.
And then there was a pause on the line. The kind of silence that makes you realize someone might be watching you. Then Marcus spoke again.
Don't go there. Whatever's there, it's not just alive, it's hungry.
Then Emma's headphones hissed with faint static, the exact same sound from earlier. But this time, buried inside the static, a slow, horribly distorted voice whispered, "Welcome back." Marcus's voice dropped to almost a whisper. "Emma, you don't get it. Langville isn't a place on a map, it's a trap. Anyone who goes there, it doesn't come back, at least not in their original form." Emma tried to laugh it off.
Don't you think you're being a little dramatic?
Marcus went silent. The only thing Emma could hear was his breathing. But in between those breaths, there was something else. A second rhythm, like an extra heartbeat, bleeding into the call. "I'm sending you something," Marcus said. "An old satellite image. Look closely. You'll see a shadow, one that doesn't belong to any building." On Emma's laptop, a grainy black and white image popped up. She zoomed in and saw it, a human-shaped figure standing dead center, in a spot where no road, no person, should even exist on the map. A cold draft swept across her hands, like something had just reached out from inside the screen and touched her. Marcus's voice came through again, now steady.
Emma, if you go there, you might just become part of the image too.
The static grew louder, and the call dropped. Emma stared at the laptop screen, at that shape again. Her heart skipped a beat. The figure, the one that had been perfectly still before, it now looked like it had shifted. Just slightly, like it had moved. There are some places that, even if they appear on a map, they don't actually exist. And this place was one of those. But if you do manage to get there, and you think you're seeing it for the first time, and yet written somewhere, it says, "Welcome back." That's exactly what happened to Emma. After learning everything she had, Emma made her choice. Ignoring Dr. Marcus's warnings and Jake's fear-filled words, she set her car's GPS to 476062 degree N 111 26777 W, just outside Great Falls, Montana. The drive was long, but with every mile, the adrenaline in her chest climbed higher. She wanted one thing: the truth. Proof that Langville wasn't just an urban legend, but the moment she arrived and something felt wrong. The entire area was a dead, flat plain. No trees, no road sign, just a thin blanket of fog clinging low to the ground. The air had this strange kind of stillness, the kind that isn't peaceful, more like someone had pressed a mute button on the entire world. Emma pulled a drone from her backpack. The plan was simple: get a view from above, see if there were any old structures. The drone lifted off and her screen flickered with static. In the very next frame, her heart stopped. A whole town appeared on the display, small houses and narrow streets, streetlights glowing a faint orange. It lasted for just 1 second, and then gone. The screen showed nothing but the same empty, barren field.
What was that? I just saw a town!
Emma's voice shook. The controller slipped slightly in her hands, either from the damp fog or from the sweat on her palms. Her mind was scrambling. Was this a hallucination, or was it real? Right then, her phone buzzed. A notification popped up on her GPS, a red pin flashing over Langville, and above it the words, "Welcome back." Emma frowned.
I've never been here
Back?
before.
I've never been here before. She gripped the controller, switched the view, but right then, the signal cut out. The final frozen frame of that footage. Emma still remembers it. A distorted face, half human, half made of digital pixels, staring straight at her through the camera. The eyes, completely blank. And yet, it felt like they were trying to crawl inside her. The next moment, the screen went black. Emma couldn't stop thinking, where had she seen that face before? And then it hit her. That old satellite image, the tiny blurred spot in the middle of Langville. And in that blur, those same eyes. She did leave that place, but she had no idea the real twist was still coming. When Emma got back from Montana to her little Seattle apartment, she thought it was over. But her first phone notification nearly stopped her heart. Langville. Just one word, in bold letters. No app name, no sender. Just stuck to her screen. She shut the phone off, restarted it, but when she opened it again, that word was still there. At first, she told herself glitch, but then inside every app, Instagram, Gmail, Maps, she saw the same word, Langville. And it kept happening, even when her phone was on airplane mode, even when the Wi-Fi was off, like whatever was sending it wasn't going through a signal at all. It was already inside her device. For 2 days, she ignored it, deleted the notifications. Factory reset the phone, But on the third night, she woke up to a new message. Why did you leave? That's it. The sender, maybe Langville. She was getting desperate.
Why isn't this stopping? I love that place!
She tossed her phone onto the bed, like keeping it farther away might somehow make it less dangerous. But that night, while all of Seattle slept, she heard it. A faint hiss inside her own bedroom, the sound of someone breathing, and then a single word. Langville. Like someone was calling her. Her heart was saying, run. But her brain, it was whispering, you have to know. The next week, the voices became a daily thing. Sometimes in the middle of the day while she was making coffee. Sometimes inside the elevator at work, when she was completely alone. And every time they said the same thing, come back. Emma's logic and started breaking. Even after leaving Montana, Langville wasn't letting her go. One evening, she stood in front of her bathroom mirror. She looked exhausted, dark circles carved deep under her eyes, and then she saw it. Her reflection wasn't moving with her. It was perfectly still. And behind the eyes, a shadow moved, like something was watching her from the inside. What's happening to me? She whispered it so softly, like even hearing her own voice scared her. She grabbed her phone, thinking she'd call the police. But the screen lit up with a message. You can't call them. It was like Langville already knew exactly what she was about to do. Emma sat in her dark room, the glow from the screen lighting only half her face. The clock read 2:37 a.m., and with every tick, her heartbeat matched it. Clicking through random old pages online, she found something that's still stuck in her head to this day. A forum post from 2005. The header read, Langville is not abandoned, it's inverted. Beneath it, there was a username, Quiet Witness. And the very first sentence of the post read, I've seen Langville. The people there, their bodies were inside out. Like what's supposed to be inside was outside.
Inside
Emma's
out?
hand froze on the mouse. Inside out? She leaned in closer to the screen, like she was trying to understand every single pixel. For a few seconds, she could swear the words were seeping out of the screen, like she was hearing them, not reading them. And then, the post disappeared. The entire forum page went blank. She refreshed, cleared her cache. Nothing. In desperation, she opened the Wayback Machine. And yeah, there it was. But there was only one screenshot. One date. One time stamp 2005 3:03 a.m. In the screenshot, there was a faint reflection behind the text, but it wasn't hers. She immediately called Jake. Jake, are you hearing me?
Are you hearing me?
I think I'm in danger.
I think I'm in
Jake's
danger.
voice sounded off. The connection was crystal clear, but the voice was like it was coming from an old cassette tape.
Emma, leave your house. Right now. That town, it's trying to claim you.
Her heart was pounding so hard, she could hear the echo of her own heartbeat in her ears. What do you mean? Claim me? She asked. Jake didn't answer, just a faint breath crackling through the speaker. And then he said,
By the time you understand, going back won't be a choice anymore.
The call cut out, but her phone kept vibrating. Incoming call. Quiet Witness. The same. Dead user from 2005. She answered the call. No voice. Just this faint background sound, like an old VHS tape rewinding. But every few seconds, a whisper cut through. Don't look behind you. Emma's left hand started to shake. On her screen, the forum post flashed back. But this time, there was one extra sentence. If you're reading this, you're already part of Langville. Have you ever thought about going back somewhere, knowing you might come back alive, or maybe never at all? Emma had. And that night, she made up her mind. She was going back to Langville. Jake was in.
This time, we will be ready.
Cameras, audio recorders, extra batteries, GPS trackers. Everything was packed. But you know what they say? No matter how ready you think you are, there are some places where reality plays by its own rule book. Midnight. The air was thick, like even the wind was listening. As their Jeep rolled into the outskirts of Langville, a low hum started. Faint at first, then louder. It sounded like thousands of voices, singing from underneath the ground. Jake hit the record button, and every single device glitched at the exact same second. Static. Random symbols on the screens, the camera feed jumping like it was skipping time. Emma turned to Jake. Is anything recording? But Jake's face was blank. His eyes locked forward, like he was receiving some kind of signal. And then he started speaking. But his voice wasn't his. It was robotic. Langville, Langville, over and over, the same 2 words. Jake, snap out of it. Emma's voice cracked through the night. No response. And then, in one blink, he was gone. No GPS ping, no sound of footsteps, nothing but silence. 10 minutes passed, but every single second felt like a year. Her brain was screaming, turn back, but her heart wouldn't let her. Because if she didn't find Jake now, she might never find him at all. Then, footsteps. Jake was back, but it wasn't the same Jake. In his hand was an old keychain, rusted metal, something etched into it. Emma shined her flashlight. It was the Langville logo. Where did you get this? Her voice was shaking. Jake looked at her and smiled. Slowly, deliberately. You'll find out, he said. But there was nothing warm about that smile. It was the kind of smile someone gives when they're inviting you somewhere that no one ever comes back from. That's when Emma noticed. There was no dirt on Jake's clothes. His shoes, perfectly clean. So where the hell had he been for those 10 minutes? Emma searched the GPS coordinates for a while, and then her flashlight caught something. A metal hatch, half buried in the ground. No lock. Like someone had left it open on purpose. She gripped the handle, turned it. A cold metallic click. A rush of air came up, smelling of old paper and burnt circuits. You're probably thinking, an old bunker, so what? But this was the exact location, listed only in classified archives. Project Langville. The ladder going down was completely rusted, but Emma didn't even hesitate. Each step screamed under her weight. At the bottom, her flashlight swept across a pitch-black room filled with ancient computer and filing cabinets. In one corner, a file lay open, like someone had just walked away from it. The cover read, Project Langville, Digitizing Consciousness. She turned the first page and froze. Back in the 1950s, the US government had started an experimental program. The goal was simple: transfer the human mind into a computer, immortality, in digital form. The first batch, 63 volunteers, and never came back. No bodies were ever found, no minds recovered. They were trapped inside what the files called a virtual prison. And now, decades later, they were pulling in new people to join them. But the question was, if they couldn't get out themselves, how could they pull you in? Emma's head spun. One thought kept repeating over and over. Am I already in their trap? Then, a loud metallic thud. The bunker door had shut on its own. Darkness, except for the blue glows of the computer screens. One by one, the monitors flickered to life. Each screen showed a face, not normal faces. These were glitched, frozen in mid-distortion, like shattered pixels trapped between frames. Eyes hollow, but staring right at her. Some were so heavy with static you could almost feel them screaming, but no sound came through. Then, across one of the screens, a sentence appeared. "We know you." Emma stumbled back, but another screen lit up.
Now, you're
And
one
now,
of us.
"You're one of us." Her throat went dry. She whispered, "No, I'm not." But that's when her flashlight began to flicker. And with every flicker, those faces moved closer, like they were stepping out of the screen and into the room. Emma spun around, desperate to find an exit. The hatch was locked. She ran to a console and started typing. "Disconnect all systems" error flashed back at her. "Unauthorized access." Then, a voice broke through the static, distorted. Male. "Emma, how did you know this place was here?"
Emma, how did you know this place was here?
She froze. Someone knew her name, and she had never told anyone about this bunker. Then, a second voice. Female. "We've been watching you since day one."
We've been watching you since day one.
One of the screens shifted, and a video started playing. It was her apartment just days ago. Same clothes, same coffee mug. Like someone had been filming her, and the whole time Emma's heart was hammering.
What do you want from me?
Through the static crackle came a reply.
To finish what they started.
And then, on the central screen, a single button began to blink. Upload Mind Countdown, 0:00:59. The button's color slowly shifted, from deep red to a blinding white, like it was pulling her eyes, forcing her to lock on it. The countdown ticked on, and with every passing second, those numbers reflected in the eyes of the pixelated faces on the other screens, as if they were part of the countdown too. And that's when you realized this wasn't just her countdown. Those 59 seconds were yours on too. 45. Emma tore her eyes away from the console just for a second. She yanked open the handle of a nearby filing cabinet, folder after folder completely blank, except for one. A single folder, the cover. In bold black letters, Emma Clark. She opened it, and inside were photographs. Not old ones. Photos from this morning. Her coffee cup, her laptop screen. The exact weather outside her window. Right now. How could these pictures exist in the present moment? The distorted voice returned. "Do you think you walked in here?" The folder slipped from her hands. "You've been here for a long time, Emma. You're just realizing it now." One by one, the screens lit up, each showing video footage. Emma in college, her first job, her apartment. Every single memory, recorded from the same vantage point, like her entire life had been watched through someone else's camera. 30. On one screen, bold red letters flashed. Only one way out. Beneath it, a smaller line blinked. Press accept to rejoin the world. But here's the problem. In front of her were two identical consoles. One had accept blinking bright white. The other, the word accept, was slightly faded, like white, mixed with just a little bit of gray. The voice came again.
Only one button will take you back. The other will lock you here forever.
Emma's hand hovered over the button, but one thought wouldn't leave her head. Am I making this choice with my own mind, or is it already theirs? As soon as Emma moved in, to make her decision, every screen went black. Only one line of text remained. Emma has 20 seconds. You have 20 seconds too. And in that moment, you notice something. One of the screens isn't just showing her, it's showing you, blinking, like it's asking you directly, which button will you press? The lights flicker hard, static floods the air, the distorted faces return. But this time, one of them is different. It's yours. Same expression, same eyes. Like you've just become part of this story. .05. Emma takes a deep breath in and presses the button. The screen goes black, and then the sound of a car engine. Emma's running, like someone ripped her heart out and shoved it into her legs. Heavy, dragging, desperate. She spots a car. But first, Jake. He grabs her hand. Jake, we have to go. Emma's voice nearly cracks. Jake smiles,
You're one of us now.
but it's not his smile. You're one of us now, Emma. His hand feels slippery cold, like there's some kind of liquid moving under his skin. Emma rips her hand away and sprints to the car. She turns the key. The engine coughs, raw and metallic. Whir, catch. The whole frame shudders, like for a split second it believes, and then the sound chokes. A final lifeless gargle and silence. A burnt oil smell drifts through the air, like the car just took its last breath. And that's when Emma realizes this machine was never meant to save her. It was meant to keep her here, in the rearview mirror. A reflection, her own face, but the eyes, cloudy, hollow, just like Jake's. Her phone vibrates on the screen. A notification. Welcome to Langville. Emma's face goes blank. Her lips move in a whisper, I'm home. The screen fades to black, static, and then your reflection. When the police unlocked Emma's phone for evidence and they found just one file, a 47-second video, the screen completely black, only a shaky, muffled audio, and then Emma's voice. So faint, like someone had their hands wrapped around her throat. Welcome to Langville. But the real fear didn't start until the very last frame. Blood-red text flashed across the screen. You're next. At first, everyone thought it was just a sick prank. But then, a pattern started to emerge. Every single officer who watched that video, within 24 hours, got the same strange push notification on their phone. You're next. And it only happened when they opened Google Maps. Right in the center of their map, a tiny blinking dot, Langville, Montana. Some tried to ignore it. Within 3 days, that they were either missing or found dead in their own homes. Every device told the same story. One final search in the browser history. Langville directions. I'm not telling you this to scare you. I'm telling you because the second you heard this story, you were already triggered. Your phone's mic, your location. Both have already logged you. Maybe you think I'm exaggerating. Fine. Test it. Open Google Maps. Zoom all the way out. Do you see it? A small blinking town you've never heard of? If you do, you've got 72 hours. Langville, Montana. Search it if you dare. And remember, don't just share this story. Pass the warning, because every single person who ignored it is now just a statistic. You decide, do you want to be the next statistic or the survivor? And maybe it's just an old urban legend. Or maybe that legend is about to become your reality.